Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Hearing the news about the NBA, it just sparks some excitement, you know what I'm saying? You think about the 76ers, no matter how frustrating they were, it's just so entertaining to think about the sport of basketball, even though the scenario will be so unique and different, no fans, although there have been some reports about allowing family into these events, so it will feel like there's some sort of people and some sort of atmosphere, but the moral of the story is 76ers basketball is more talkable than ever before. And that is where I am super intrigued because it's been so long since we've actually been able to talk about basketball, the sport of basketball. Where are the Sixers going to be? Where are they going to finish? How many regular season games can they win before the playoffs start? Does it even matter now what seed they fall into? Because, well, guess what? There's no home court advantage unless the league ends up implementing one of their rules that they were thinking about. Whether it's you get the ball first at the second, third, and fourth quarter. And the more that I think about that one, I can't stand it because, hear me out, these teams that are the higher seed would know that they are getting the ball at the start of every second, third, and fourth quarter. So now they will plan strategically to have the last shot of each quarter, and then they know they're going to get the ball back. So it's a possible 6-point swing if they drill 3-pointers at the start of 3 of the 4 quarters, right? I mean, that just makes no sense. You can't do that. So as of now, there's no home court advantage. I know they are trying to find a way to give the team who is the higher seed an upper hand because it does matter, because it is impactful when you are a higher seed, but you just don't know how you can do it without changing the integrity of the sport. So with all that being said, does it matter where the Sixers fall when it comes to seeding? Well, it does if you value their opponent. Would you rather see the Celtics first? The Miami Heat first? Would you rather see Toronto in the second round? Or the Bucks in the second round? Oh, I just love the fact that we can talk hoops again. Before we do all that, though, this episode of Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. They set the standard for clean energy. Whether you are looking to add solar to your home or company, Orbit works directly with you to ensure you are getting the best deal. It makes a lot of sense. We are talking $0 electric bill. That changes a lot, especially when you're talking about the electric bill in the summertime. That's not all. Orbit also provides water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. Visit them online at orbitenergy.us or give them a call at 800-836-3987, and their information is in the description. So the question is it ridiculous to think the Sixers could make some noise when the season returns? And if you're basing it off of what they gave you this year, the answer should easily be, yeah, it's ridiculous. Why would you just assume that they would find a way to figure it out, that they would find a way to groove together, have rhythm, after what we saw on display? And now factor in that they've taken, 3 months off without playing basketball at all? There's only so many Zoom calls that you can do. There's only so much impact that could even have. So how is it possible to expect them to go out and just dominate and win an NBA title? So is it ridiculous to think the Sixers can make some noise? I do think it is ridiculous, but at the same time, what isn't at this point? We just had the whole entire world on lockdown. Some team needs to be the team to win. Some team is going to come out hotter than the rest. So could it be the Sixers? Maybe. Maybe this time off is exactly what they needed. Less pressure, less stress. Now, it's not as if they play great away from the Wells Fargo Center, and that's going to be a problem. But this is such a different, unique environment. I don't know if I can use those statistics that they were on the road and correlate that to how they're going to play in a neutral site in Orlando with barely any people in the stadium. I just don't see the correlation. I'm not expecting them to go out and be able to be this team that we expected them to be before the season started. because it's just not there, right? We saw it with our eyeballs this year. It's just not there. And I do think that the NBA and other leagues around sports, it's year to year. You can come back with a new mindset, a new philosophy, different energy every single year, and you could be a different team. So while I have that mindset, why can't that be the Sixers in this mini break? It's not the same thing because it's not a new year, it's not a new season, but you just took 3 months off. And is it possible that that's enough of a reboot, that's enough of a mental switch that these players can go out there and say, all right, look, it was brutal, it was frustrating, it was hard at times, but let's take some deep breaths, let's figure this thing out. Now, that could just be me being optimistic. Once again, I'm not leaning this way heavily. If I was a betting man, I would say, yeah, they're probably not going to be able to do it. But I don't think that it should be out of the question. Now, why is this a positive for the Sixers? Well, it's simple. It starts with Ben Simmons. He had the back injury. He went through a lot of rehab, a lot of pain as well. Remember the report that Brett Brown stated in one of his Zoom calls that he was throwing up due to pain, which is absurd. It's insanity, but that's the type of pain he was in. I was in that Milwaukee game. I remember watching the game, seeing him start. I was like, all right, let's go, baby. Let's go, Ben. Let's see what you got. And you know, in regular season games, it's not meaningful, but it is meaningful. But when you get a matchup like that, you're juiced up about it. If the Sixers are playing the Hornets, you don't get the same feel. You don't get the same energy. You're not sitting down on the couch with a nice IPA or a White Claw going, I can't wait to watch this game. But if it's a Thursday night game at 8 o'clock and it's on TNT and it's Sixers Bucks in Milwaukee, yeah, you know what? You're thinking about that game at 4 o'clock when you're at work. You're thinking about that game when you wake up and you say, all right, let me just get through this work day. And then I'll be able to relax at home, 8 o'clock, put my feet up and watch that TNT game. There's a different vibe. But then you see Ben Simmons go down. I remember it. I was crushed. Oh, and now you got to sit through that game without him and find a way to fix your emotions during that specific game. It's crazy, but he was in a lot of pain, and this is exactly what the Sixers kind of needed if they were going to make any sort of run. See, I'm under the impression that if the league came back earlier or if COVID never happened, you wouldn't have saw Ben Simmons in the playoffs. I know at the time we were thinking, all right, please just be there for the postseason. And with what we're hearing by Elton Brand and Brett Brown, I don't know if that would have been the case. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. Here they are now. Ben Simmons being healthy is huge. Monstrous. Breaking news. The Sixers need Ben Simmons if they're going to be able to compete. He had some time off. He was able to get the back going. Now, what level is it at? I don't know. Is it possible that he's still not 100%? He's still not in a good position? Well, it's very possible. But the thing is, we could all agree that you'll probably be seeing him July 31st. You will be seeing him, whether he's 100% or not. He's able to play the game, and that's big. A back injury is no problem. I'm sorry. The back injury is no joke. It is a problem. So with that being said, I can't expect 3 months to say, well, that's going to fix your back. You're going to have back problems for years and years and years and years. It's going to be bothering him forever, probably, essentially. I mean, I know plenty of family members that every day they wake up, oh, my back, oh, I can't do this. That's going to be him. So he's never going to be 100%, but at this point, he's playable. And that's what we need. We need him to be able to go out there and compete. Now the conversation comes up, should he be off the ball? He stinks in half-court sets. Is there a way to utilize Shake Milton? And I'm not saying that that's a bad mindset to have. I think at times he should be off the ball. I think at times he should have the ball in his hands. More of a point forward. He doesn't need to be strictly point guard. I get that. But are we putting too much hope into Shake Milton? The dude had a good game against the Clippers. It was fantastic. Remember what he did? He was balling. Drilling threes, taking it hard to the rack, not being afraid if there was a rim protector there. I was just stunned, shocked. My eyeballs were, what? Huh? I remember watching that game. But to expect him to be a starting rotation piece, is that fair? What are we basing this off of? A handful of games? He had to sit out for a while because of COVID, and now, hey, here's the NBA playoffs, dude. Have some fun. You're in the starting rotation. You better dominate. I don't know if that's fair. The problem is with this Sixers team is there's so many pieces on the bench. You got to be able to find time for them. With that being said, there's so many players in your starting rotation that are going to have their minutes boosted. Brett Brown talked about Joel Embiid getting about 38 minutes a night. 38 minutes is a good night for Joel Embiid. When do you fit Al Horford in? Well, those minutes that Joel's not in the game will be for him. What's that, 10 minutes? And what about when Ben Simmons is off the floor? Do you slide Al back into the rotation? Because the spacing is a little bit different when Ben is off the floor. If Ben is off the floor for 8 minutes, is that 18 minutes for Al Horford? Is it fair to question Joel Embiid and what type of shape he is going to be in? This has been a conversation since the dude got here. This has been the talk of the town since he started legitimately playing. What type of shape is he in? There's reports saying Jokic is going to come back with a mean six-pack. Imagine if Jokic, of all people, returns to the NBA, he's ready to play postseason basketball, and he is in shape, and he looks weird, and it looks odd, and it's almost as if, is this the same person? While you have Embiid coming back with his hands on his knees. While you have Embiid jogging up the floor and kind of bagging himself. And I don't think he's a lazy person. That's a big-time knock on Embiid. Is he lazy? I don't think he's lazy. I think he works hard. I think he adds to his game. I think he's in the gym. I think he cares about the game of basketball. I think he's in love with it, and it's a big passion in his life. I don't think he sits back and goes, you know what? I don't feel like working out tonight. I think he does have that drive, right? But the problem is with his body and the way it works and having such a big structure, and it's not a normal thing to be running as many miles as he's running when he's going up and down the floor. It's just natural that maybe his body can't hang. It can't keep up. It's only natural. It's called being a human. Your body's not used to doing that. So how do you train it to be? It might be a spot where you just can't. This is what it is. You either take it or you leave it. Think about what Joel Embiid could possibly be if he was in Ben Simmons type shape. But once again, maybe that's not his fault. It might just be how he is. I don't think he's a lazy dude. I think he tries. I think he conditions himself. There might have been times earlier in his career where he didn't take it as serious because he didn't know, because he's so raw, because he went from being just a guy learning the game of basketball to, boom, getting thrown into the NBA. Then he's a superstar, right? So it went from milkshakes and Shirley Temples to, oh, damn, I got to be on a different level. I got to put this behind me. I got to focus on what's going to make me a better basketball player. And I think he hit that point. Now, is he to the best that he could be with it? I'm not going to go to that extreme, but I do sense that he has triggered a different spot in his brain where he understands the power and the maturity of off-the-court stuff, of training the body properly. And maybe you will see it transition to that one day, but I lean more towards this just might be the nature of the beast when you're talking about a dude who's 7'2", running up and down the floor and needing to eat as much as he eats to keep himself filled. And there's a lot. I mean, there's definitely a lot in play. I don't think that it's essentially his fault, but he needs to work on it. It would be a bad look if Jokic comes out in this crazy new look where he is slim, he is fit, he's setting screens at the top of the key, and he's rolling to the basket hard with insane dunks while he's knocking three-pointers down and also running the offense from the top of the key while you have Embiid huffing and puffing, being tired. If I was a betting man, I would probably lean it that way, if Jokic is as fit as they are claiming. It's also hard for me to believe that Jokic is going to be able to be someone to slim down to that degree. We will have to see how that all plays out. How about Josh Richardson? This is a unique conversation. With Josh Richardson, he had his fair share of injuries. He was banged up. He was nicked up. What do we expect out of him? Now, I reported this on 97.3 ESPN that I think Josh Richardson should be a sixth man. I would love for him to be the sixth man role. I think that is a perfect spot for him. He's a type of player, and I'm not going to say these are the players that he is going to be, but it has that general feel to it. Lou Will can get buckets off the bench, right? That's the type of player you're looking for, a Lou Will. Why can't he be a Lou Will type? A six man that can come off the bench. Jamal Crawford. I actually think Shake Milton has that style of play in him, but Jamal Crawford got points off the bench. Can Josh Richardson be that guy that you can rely to when you put him in the game as a sixth man? Now the question comes into play, though. Who are you putting in the lineup instead of him? Well, there's plenty of people that you can put in that spot, but they don't need to log starter minutes. Matisse Thybulle doesn't have to log starter minutes, but he could start the game and be a hectic defender right from the jump. You can have Glenn Robinson III for a little how do you do if you're interested in some cutting to the basket and a different style role. Dare I say, a really quick burst of Furkan Korkmaz to stretch the floor just from the beginning. And then once he starts getting abused, you throw him away. I think Furkan's going to play. I do. And we all understand where I'm at with Furkan Korkmaz. Not my favorite. I definitely do not like him. I think he gets torched defensively, and it's only going to get worse in the slower pace game in the playoffs. I still think Brett uses him. I think he has a minor role on this team. 5 minutes, boom, let him out there, let him shoot, and if he's off, bang, pull him. If he gets 5 to 10 minutes and he hits 3 3-pointers in that spot, okay, fine. But what's the payoff, right? Because if he's missing 3 threes and he's allowing 8 points on the other side, you got to pull the trigger. The beauty of it, though, is this team does have a lot of players that can kind of play in that spot. Furkan, Matisse Thybulle, Alec Burks, Glenn Robinson III. You also have Shake Milton, Josh Richardson. I mean, there's a lot of people who can play in that 2-3 range. So put that in perspective. I would love to see, though, that sixth-man vibe out of Josh Richardson. I don't think that's the way they're going to use that, though. Look, Al Horford, the question hasn't even been answered yet. Is he coming off the bench or not? And I would think at this point you have to put him off the bench. Brett Brown made that decision. Then Ben Simmons got hurt. Al went back into the starting lineup. And then this all happened. So where is Al Horford? And I think it's best to utilize him off the bench. If you can find 20 to 25 minutes for Al Horford, then that's beautiful. Because last year, there I have to say it again, they got embarrassed for a handful of minutes when Embiid was off the floor. And that can't happen. And you got to find a way to hold the fort down. And it might not be Norvell Bell. It might not be able to be Kyle O'Quinn. You might have to rely on a veteran Al Horford, a smart Al Horford. And the game is different now. In the regular season, bang, 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 threes up and down, up and down, up and down. It is not that way in the playoffs. It is two different sports. The way I view basketball, it's two different sports. Regular season is one sport. Playoff basketball is another sport. It's not the same. It's not even close. The style of play changes completely. Now, that doesn't mean there's not three-pointers. Of course, people are still chucking three-pointers early in shot clocks in certain situations. But the game is slowed down, possession by possession, using the shot clock. That's more of an Al Horford game than the bang, 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 running up and down. He's an older man. He's an older gentleman. He's going to have a slower pace game. And I think people will understand that and see that when Al is in the game. And I remember when the signing happened. First off, I liked the idea. I did. I know some people now with hindsight claim, oh, I hated it from the beginning. I'm sure some people did. But I thought it was intriguing. I thought that there was something there because I know the power behind having someone who can play when Joel Embiid's not on the floor. And look, the conversation about the money, the contract, the years just for a backup center, I get that comes into play. But I was not upset about it at the time. And I claim that you will notice him in the playoffs. He's going to do the little things that it's not going to pop. It's not going to be super exciting. He's just going to go with the flow and be a veteran throughout the regular season. The problem is, though, he wasn't that in the regular season. He was getting abused. He was bad defensively. He got rocked. He didn't help very much. But I claimed you would not see the beauty of Al Horford until the postseason. Let's see if that still comes true. Let's see if that is still how this all plays out. Maybe he was hurt. Maybe he was lingering. Something was lingering. Something was bothering him. You get a few months off, and now you get a healthier Al Horford. A more rested Al Horford. The rest of the league is too, though. LeBron James. Oh, imagine LeBron James all rested and ready to go, ready to shoot out of a cannon. It's going to be electric. I can't wait to watch that, man. I just flat out can't wait to watch him. I can't wait to watch everyone. I just think about the question, is it ridiculous to think the Sixers could make some noise? And if you're going to base it off of what you saw this season, which is very fair to do, the answer is yes. Yes, it is ridiculous. If you throw in some factors like, hey, this is a weird year. You never know. One team can come out on top, or one team will come out on top. Why can't that team be the 76ers? This team has been so bad, it can only get better. Ben Simmons is only going to get healthier. Al Horford will only get more rested. Joel Embiid is rested. The team gets healthier as a whole. They have time to reset, refresh. If you use all of that information, is it ridiculous to say that they can make some noise? And the answer is no. Some people will claim, listen, I'm not falling for it. Until I see it, I won't believe it. And who am I to judge? With the way that this team was all year long, I get it. The one thing I can't get behind, though, is I don't want to see it. I'd rather there no be basketball. Why are you so excited for Sixers basketball? They stink. They've been brutal all year. Why even put yourself through it? Come on. With that philosophy, look, when you see how many teams actually win titles, with that philosophy, don't watch. Don't watch, and you won't see a lot of seasons, because a lot of seasons don't result in championships, because you can't win a championship every single year. So with that mindset of they're not winners, they're brutal, they can't be watched, with that mindset, you're not watching a lot of sports then. And that's the part of enjoying the ride, the ups, the downs, when you're excited, when you're pissed off, you let it all out. But you don't just say, I'm never tuning in again. I'm not watching ever again. Why would I rather see them play if I could not have them on my television at all? It's simple then. If that's your philosophy, don't turn the TV on. You can control that. You can, believe it or not, control whether it's on your TV or not. There's other stations. Don't watch. But I can't support that. I'll watch the heartbreak. I'll watch the happy times. I'll watch the frustrating times, by all means. That's part of being a sports fan. That's part of the journey. That's part of getting emotionally attached to a team. You ride the roller coaster, and you pray that one day it results in a championship. Now, I heard someone claim that they didn't even want the Sixers to win the title only because they wouldn't be able to celebrate it with coronavirus stuff happening. He said, you know what, I don't even know if I want them to win, because I don't care about Ben Simmons having a ring. I don't care about Joel Embiid having a ring. I care about partying. I want to party down Broad Street. I want to go crazy. I want to get hammered. I want to just see the buses filled with the players and see the Philadelphia city go crazy and have blue, red, white all over the place celebrating the 76ers championship. That's why I want them to win a title. I don't give a damn about their rings that they get. That's an interesting philosophy. I mean, if you told me the Sixers win the title this year, I'm not going to say I'd be mad because I couldn't go to the parade. Don't get me wrong. Would I be upset about it if there was no parade? Yeah, that's a part of the community. That's part of the society. That's part of the city when it comes to sports. It's one big community. You come together. You can all be on the same page. And that couldn't be any more powerful in a time like this, where there's a lot of divide. Sports fans, it comes together. Doesn't matter where you're from, what color your skin, where you live now, South Jersey, Center City. You can all love the Sixers. All be one. And if they win, that's the part of it. That's a huge portion of winning a championship, bringing the community together. I'm not taking away from that. But if you ask me, they win the title or they don't, I mean, I'm picking the title whether there's a parade or not. I'm not going to scream that I don't want them to win it all because I won't be able to go appreciate it. I want the title. Will there be an asterisk next to it? Probably. I still want the title, though. Of course. Of course. Come on, that's silly logic, no? So thank you guys so much for listening. Once again, this episode of Sports Talk with Bros is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power, and they set the standard for clean energy. Whether you are looking to add solar to your home or company, Orbit works directly with you to ensure you are getting the best deal. Remember, we are talking about a $0 electric bill. That's not all. Orbit also provides water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. There's been a ton of storms going around, people losing power. You need some sort of backup energy service. Visit them online at orbitenergy.us or give them a call at 800-836-3987. Make sure you leave a comment down below. If you're listening to it on YouTube, you know where the comment section is. On Apple Podcasts or other podcasting platforms, you can leave a review, which is also a comment section as well. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.